Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Hillary Gadsby on the line, and she's the founder and CEO over at Boss Talk Network. Hillary, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Adam.
So I'm excited to get into what you're doing over at Boss Talks Network. But before we do that, I want to get a little bit more into your background. So how did you get started in your career as an entrepreneur?
Well, I started pretty early on, actually. I was about 10 years old when I became an entrepreneur. So a long, long time ago. I'm 42 now, so it's been a long time. But I started out, funny enough, a lot of young women start out babysitting for, for a family or something like that. And what happened was I'm from a prominent area called Sun Valley, Idaho, and we were able to command $20 an hour for babysitting.
Wow.
And I know, crazy, huh? At 10 years old, I was getting $20 an hour for babysitting. But then, a lot of other families started hearing about me as a babysitter, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? I need to, I want to be able to collect this money, but how do I do it? So I outsourced. I got some girlfriends to join me, and I ended up charging, so they were paid $15 an hour, and I got $20 an hour. I got the $5 extra an hour for their services. So I made a profit.
Oh my gosh, I can't. That's just I'm speechless. I've heard some that's going on the list of tops there, so continue, please.
So my mother always taught me really that you got to have your own pocketbook, and so that's always been instilled in me. And so I started out that way, and then I started doing things like I don't know if they're back now, but you remember the scrunchies in the 80s and 90s. So I used to make those for clients as well and sell them. And then I started in the jewelry business as well. And I started making my own really beautiful beaded jewelry. And I would sell that too. And so I have little sort of businesses here and there. But one of the things that my mom did when I was about 15 years old is she taught me how to connect and how to leverage connections for myself and for others. And so when I was 15 years old, I was introduced to someone that is pretty big in the casino industry, Steve Wynn. And she, to make sure that I met him, and I was working at Ralph Lauren at the time in retail, just a summer job. And she walked in with Steve, and I didn't know who he was, and he asked me if I liked the brand, and I said, I absolutely love this brand. I'm a Ralph Lauren girl. And he said, well, I know Ralph personally, and if you ever want to meet him or work for him, you just let me know. So fast forward to my college years. I was in Paris, France. I was just about to graduate from the university, and I remembered that Steve told me that I could work for Ralph Lauren, and I wanted to work for Ralph Lauren in Paris. So I called him up and I said, this is what I want to do. He said, okay, put a resume together and send me something. So about 2 days later, I got a call from David Lauren, Ralph's son, and I had an interview set up with HR in Paris at Ralph Lauren.
Wow,
so
I love
there,
it. So the connecting standpoint is crucial. Continue, please.
It's absolutely crucial. And I think that, and another thing my mother has always told me is that always dress to impress, because you never know who you're going to meet. And you should always be kind to anyone that you meet, because you really never know who they are or how they could help you or someone else that you know in the future. So I've really kind of built my entire life around making connections for myself and for other people. And in 2008, I started a company called the Gadsby Affair, and it was all about getting a return on investment through events. So really what it was a combination of marketing and business development through the platform of events. So we worked with companies like the Four Seasons, Toyota, the Young Presidents Organization, and financial service firms and luxury goods and services. And our job was really to get them new clients or get them it was a little bit of PR at the same time, but it was also to get them exposure. So there was an ROI always that came from our events, and which brings me back connections. It's all about making connections and creating those strategic partnerships that are going to bring the connections or bring the new clients. So I had that for about 10 years, and then I stopped doing that, and I created a brand called Stiletto Gal. So I wanted to, again, utilize my connections and sort of create a brand for myself. So Stiletto Gal came about because I've always been known for my shoes, and I've always been a connector. And I wanted to kind of give an idea for women what it's like to be an entrepreneur. So it was basically a day in the life of a woman entrepreneur as told by her shoes. And it was a blog that I started, and I wanted to feature myself and all the pitfalls and the hardships and also the fun things that what it's like to be an entrepreneur, especially as a woman. And then every Thursday we did Walk a Mile in Her Shoes, and that was featuring another woman in business and telling her story. So I really wanted to give women a platform to tell their story about what it's like to be an entrepreneur and how to do it. And in 2014, that turned into a speaker series called Secrets of Successful Women Entrepreneurs. And that was a monthly speaker series. It still is actually a monthly speaker series where I interview women entrepreneurs, fireside chat style, each month, and they talk about their story, and they talk about what they've learned as entrepreneurs and things that people should and shouldn't do so that they can learn, so they can get inspired, educated, and connect with incredible women in the room. And that's my background.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
And so, and I think that's actually a great transition. I want to get into what you're doing over at Boss Talks Network, because it's obvious that you're a master connector based off of what we've been talking about, and it's obvious that as you kind of build your skill set and have kind of transitioned through your career. I'm excited to hear more about this. So tell us more about Boss Talks Network, please.
So Boss Talks Network actually came about from Secrets of Successful Women Entrepreneurs. I rebranded it to Boss Talks in 2016 because it's a catchier name. It's easier to use. And in 2019, end of 2019, I decided, I was like, all right, I've been doing this for 5 years. It's successful in Los Angeles. People are we've had people get funded from it. We've had new friends made. We've had job opportunities. There have been major, incredible connections coming through we've done. And one of them happens to be our first speaker of 2020. It's full circle. So she met her investor of her company, and now she is a very successful entrepreneur on Entrepreneur Magazine and Inc. and Forbes, and so she's our first speaker in 2020. So I'm very excited about that because it's really come full circle. She was an attendee, and now she's a speaker. So it's really exciting. And what I wanted to do is I was like, I can do this in other cities. And so we have opened 8 new cities for 2020.
Wow.
So we're going to be doing the speaker series, but then we've also added a membership model as well. So there are 3 tiers of memberships that we're doing, and people can either opt in to just do the online portion, or they can do in their city. They can come to the events, and then they also get some online things as well as a mentor platform. So we have some really great things. We have some great partnerships as well, and that's really why I wanted to do this. I want to connect women to opportunity everywhere, and that's really what Boss Talks Network is about.
That's awesome. And so just to give everybody listening, I know that there's many people that are interested in this. How do they get more information? Like what can they expect from membership levels, things like that? Like just to give a better feel, because I definitely want people to follow up with what you're doing, because I've looked at what you're doing and it's pretty interesting to me.
Thank you so much. Well, if you go on to bosstalks.net, that's our website, you can see the different tiers of membership. It starts at $195 a year, and it goes up to $495 a year. And the $495 is our VIP membership, and it gets you access to a platform that has investors. So there's opportunity to be put in front of investors through this particular platform that we've partnered with, which is usually just under $1,000 a year to join, and they have waived that for our members. And then on top of that, you get to go to events, you get featured on the website, and then you can even do a mentoring session or a webinar on our our digital platform. So there's a lot of really great opportunities to get your business out there, connect with other women, and really get yourself to the next level.
What's the format of the in-person events? Because I don't want to assume that everyone knows, because not everybody's attended like a talks type format, number one. Yep. Number two, you mentioned 8 cities. Where are some of those geographically located? Just because we have listeners all across the nation, and I want to make sure that the right people get on that website to check you out further.
Absolutely. So the 8 cities are, obviously Los Angeles. We are in New York City. We're in Austin, Texas. We're in Nashville, Tennessee. We're in Dallas, Texas. We are in Vancouver, British Columbia. We are in Indianapolis. And then we are also in, I completely forgot. One other city.
There's a lot of cities. It's okay. It's on the website. Not to put you on the spot there. Oh, Miami. Oh, that's a good one. And yeah, I think I have listeners in most of those cities. So no, that's exciting. I mean, what's the format of an event? Like length of time? Like how many speakers come on? Like what's a little bit of there?
So it's actually kind of like what you and I are doing right here. It's really a fireside chat between the moderator and then the speaker. So it's just 2 people on stage, the moderator and host, and then the one entrepreneur. And we like to do that because it allows our speakers to really get vulnerable. Because if you have less speakers up there, they can really talk about their story and what they've gone through, and they get really vulnerable. And typically we have, depending on the venue, but we've had up to 110 people in the room, but we range between 50 and 100 women and men in the room. And it's really an intimate setting where people can connect with each other. Job opportunities happen, funding happens, and then this speaker gets to really tell their story and be vulnerable with our audience.
That's awesome. So Hillary, if somebody is listening and they do want more information on Boss Talks Network, what's the best way for them to get it?
Well, they can go on our website, and we have an area where they can sign up for our newsletter and also contact me. And then we also have an Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and that's Boss Talks Network.
Fantastic. Well, Hillary, I really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background in business and as an entrepreneur, all the way from the days of charging, a little bit of premium over those babysitting services to now being a boss in business over at Boss Talks Network and connecting people all around the world with successful entrepreneurs. That's amazing. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes store, share this with your friends, your family, your network. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And Hillary, thanks again for coming on.